So today we will be learning about perfect square and square roots. So what is a square? Square of a number is obtained by multiplying the number itself. So whenever if someone asks you what is a square, so it is just a number multiplied by itself. For example, here you can see if someone says what square of 2, you multiply 2 by 2, you will get 4. What square of 5? You multiply 5 by 5, you get 25. What square of 10? You multiply 10 into 10, that's 100. So if someone says what's a square, you just multiply number by itself, then the output that you get, the result, it's the square of that specific number. Okay, so now coming up to what is a perfect square. We have heard it many times. So, perfect square is nothing but a number that can be expressed as the square of a whole number. What is a perfect square? A number that is like a square of a whole number. For example, a number 36. It's a number. And what is the square of 6? 6. The square of 6 is 36. And 36 is a number itself. So it's a perfect square because it is a square of 6. And 6 is a whole number. Here are the examples. Here you can see 1 square is 1. Okay, so the one that you're getting on the right hand side is a number that is square of a whole number 1. Here 2 square is 4. Okay, so 4 is a square of an whole number 2. That's why it's a perfect square. 16 is a number that is square of a whole number 4. That is why it's called as perfect square. For example, like 25 is just a whole number. But it's also a square of 5. That's why it's called as perfect square. This 1, 4, 9, 16, 25. These are called perfect squares. Here are a few more examples of 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It is important that for you to know squares until 30. So, what is a square root? Square root is nothing but opposite of a square. Okay, a square root is a number that when multiplied by itself gives the original number. Okay, so here is an example. When you multiply 5 by 5, you get 25. And square root of 25 will be 5. Okay, it's just the reverse and opposite of square. Here are the first 15 perfect squares. 1 square is 1, 2 square is 4, 3 square is 9, 4 square is 16, 5 square is 25, 6 square is 36, 7 square is 49, 8 square is 64, 9 square is 81, 10 square is 100, 11 square is 121, 12 square is 144, 13 square is 169, 14 square is 196, 15 square is 225. And here are some important facts to remember. A perfect square can only end with 0, 1, 4, 5, 6, or 9. No perfect square ends with 2, 3, 7, 8. Okay, so this first 2 points, you all have to just remember it easily. Like if you have an MCQ exam or anything where they tell you like which is not a perfect square, then you can identify this can also be like a useful trick. A no perfect square would end with 2, 3, and 7, 8. It just remember these digits, these 4 digits: 2, 3, 7, and 8. In from 1 to 10, like no, from 0 to 9, in the first 5, 0, like 2, 3, and next is 7, 8. Just like 2, 3, 7, 8. The last digit, if these are present, then that's not a perfect square. Okay? Then the square root of a perfect square is always a whole number. Okay? You remember that? Perfect square is what? A whole number that is square of a whole number. So, the next point is the square of an even number is even. 2 square is 4. 4 is even. Okay? Whole square is 144. 144 is even. And the square of an odd number is odd. So the more important factors which you can get from here is just this one, that 2, 3 and 7, 8. These cannot be in the last digit of a square, like per squares, because if that is there, then that is not a perfect square. And this one, the square of an odd digit is odd and even is even. These three things you have to remember. Here are examples. 49 is a perfect square because 49, 7 square is 49. 81 is perfect square because 81, like 9 square is 81. 50 is not a perfect square because its square root is not a whole number. So that's it for today. Have a nice day. Hope you understood. Good luck.